All right, what's up, everybody? All right, Mateo, you said you dropped the post in here?
Yeah, on the PPI.
All right, cool. So we still have Dow building liquidity, and then you were looking at NQ, right? As an imbalance fill?
It's creating some fair value gaps down.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. What would you do here? Do you approach this with the sell, or are you just kind of sitting on it?
As a retail trader, yeah, I'm thinking sells, but as a smart money trader, I'm thinking it's probably still gonna push. Like it's creating that so that it can sweep it during New York Open.
Yeah.
Because time does play a factor into your trades.
For sure.
Kind of see what New York does. New York might just go sweep that bottom liquidity, and then we might just push higher.
Yeah. So you're just kind of waiting for, basically, for it to give you the setup.
I like fair value gaps because obviously the momentum in the market.
Yeah.
They get disrespected and keep going.
Where did you drop this, bro?
I think on the PPI comments.
Oh, here.
But
Thank you.
just when as I found this
All right, so we got a dual stream going. Well, actually, one stream of consciousness, real time. I do like this ETH cell. I like this. It's been struggling to get up there too. For those of you on the YouTube stream, it's probably gonna look really weird. I don't know what's gonna look like quality wise over here. So yeah, you guys can let me know how it goes. But what's up, everybody? You are 100% missing out on Tradetopia, and if you do have FOMO, you should. All right, so let me just let everyone know we're here now. I got you guys flipping platforms today. For those of you on the YouTube stream, how was the school experience? Somebody like, I was traumatized at school and I don't want to go back. Oh, that's funny. All right. All right, so we're definitely seeing a squeeze right now. If you're in the market right now, like I'm not in the market, but this is where I think a lot of traders tend to hesitate a lot, or the fear starts to kick in because you're like, is it gonna break out below? Is it gonna break out above? Like what's the scenario gonna be over here? At this point, it's just why I'm not taking anything here. And I'm actually going to go split screen because based on the way that this is moving, I'm open to considering shorting NASDAQ as well. Or not as well, one or the other. So, yeah, here's what we got going on right now. So, for example, this is creating a wedge. So you have liquidity built up here. With NASDAQ, we actually saw it clear a lot of buyers. And then now it can push up. And it would be sweeping sellers up in this range as well. That's why I do prefer Dow shorts above these highs. So I think that's what we could see with New York Open would be a nice little liquidity capture and then the drop. Let me just close out a couple things here. Make sure this stream is smooth. School was a banger. Great sound and vid. All right, cool. All right, look at this. NASDAQ starting to pick up. So retail break and retest buys are basically looking back in profit here for retail entries. And when we're seeing a move like this, what does this start to do? This is going to FOMO in buyers. So when we see buyers get FOMO'd in here, max, you're starting to see like this would be clearing out these previous. So anyone that then was catching the drop, would you say that people place their stop losses here? If you're, imagine you were in a sell. This looks like a pretty good place to place a stop loss if I'm in a sell. So this is where above this high is where I'm looking to short. What I'm going to do now, remember we have New York open here in 17 minutes. So yeah, if you can't see, then it's probably better to be up here. All right, how are those portfolios looking? Y'all buy some crypto, right? Got a little crypto?
Hold, never fold. We got stuck in the last cycle.
In the last cycle?
Yeah, last cycle.
It's hot.
It ended up paying off.
Yeah, I think when it comes to investing, you really got to know what timeline you're on. Like, I think basically anything outside the top 10 for coins or top 25, outside of that, like, you just run it with the cycle. If you're like, for Bitcoin, for me, it's like I just want as much as I possibly can over the course of my life. Yeah. All right, so I do want to take a look at metals. I think we can possibly have some metals opportunities. And this computer is struggling out here, man. I think running the stream and the screen share is slowing this thing down a little bit. But for those of you that are looking at metals, does anyone see a setup here? I kind of see a little drop right there and then the continuation. So that looks decent. And then we also have the sweep of this high before it drops. However, the reason I always say, guys, just draw out the lines is because you can miss something like this, where there's actually equal highs, there's liquidity. So you could have easily missed that if you just don't draw a line. Your eyes can definitely deceive you. And then, is there anything else going on from the past that this is sweeping here? Do you see how far your 1 minute setup has run? I don't know if you noticed. Remember that 1 minute trade that you sent in like a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah. About how that I would have been funded and paid.
I think you'd own the prop firm.
Yeah.
It's 182 R.
Yeah, I didn't forget that. I had told Karen like that week, the end of that week, if I had just held it.
Yeah, that's a nice trade right there. I think I've hit 100 to 1 once.
I took my 2R.
2R. So, all right. So we definitely had some liquidity building up here on the 5 minute on Tuesdays, like right around Tuesday, New York open. You see it pump and then immediately start to drop. Now, remember, guys, starting from higher time frames and going to lower gives you, just gives you good perspective. So we're seeing higher highs, higher lows. We push higher here. So this just overall does take out quite a bit of liquidity. But then when it comes to making bearish structure, it fails to stay here. We come up again. Then we drop further down. So we get below these lows. Even here, we lose momentum quickly, come right back before we rally. So when you look at structure here, I'd say 1 hour time frame, we're still relatively bullish. And every time we start to get below 40 or 3,665, we are losing some momentum. So I think when the market drops down to this area, I do like buys, maybe gold, maybe silver, but there's definitely enough bearish structure for us to at least look for a sell up here. So this move up here, and remember guys, we do want to consider silver. So as I mark this up, I'm not drawing this out because this is for sure the trade. This is what we're considering. Like, this is just us identifying, analyzing. Just because I draw it on here doesn't mean it's a like, hey, okay, open up an order or take a trade. It's like, okay, we're just observing, we're identifying. That's all we're doing first. I will blatantly say, like, all right guys, here's where I'm gonna take a setup. So here's where it could be a setup. Now, before we get too excited, we then want to look at silver. So here's gold. Gold's trading pretty nicely. There's definitely liquidity that it can sweep up here. At the same time, we see a big spike down here. The market came up, came back down. What kind of setup is this, guys? Shakeout setup. And then it runs. Now, if we look at silver, silver is definitely more bearish, right? So we saw that gold spike here from Tuesday, and then we're trading kind of like in the middle of the range. Jesus Christ. So we can get, this is not urgent, so I will come back to gold, and I'll come back to silver here real quick. And that way we can come to a conclusion, because we could be seeing a nice buy over here later, or could we be seeing a sell over here? So I want to get back into that, but before I do, let's take a look at NASDAQ and Dow. So both of these setups did a really good job of creating this break and retest environment. Now all of these buyers are sitting in profit, and I think we're getting really close to a potential reversal. Now the question becomes, which one? All right, which do we look for a short here? So what I do is I like to draw a fib and just kind of see, okay, where are we in this little move here? We're about a 618 pullback, or a 50% pullback on Dow. And then with NASDAQ, this dropped all the way down to here. So these are pretty much neck and neck right now. So does that help us at all? Not really. And so this is some of those environments in trading where you're like, dude, what do I do? Now, to kick things off, so let's zoom out a little bit. To kick things off, and honestly, I would understand shorts even now, but the problem is the risk reward is just not as nice, because it's kind of filling this imbalance here. We're seeing NASDAQ take out some of this liquidity. But what we notice, I'm noticing here is Dow Jones goes pretty bullish, but it kind of comes right back down pretty much to those London highs very quickly. Whereas NASDAQ's been pushing, I'd say, just more aggressively. Like, we're trading way above these highs from London, and even before that, NASDAQ had already cleared these London highs before the news event even. Whereas Dow was already trading just more bearish. It was just already making these lows. So even when it goes higher, it seems like NASDAQ had a way more aggressive move than Dow. So I am leaning slightly more towards shorting Dow Jones over here. Now the other way to do it, and this is more complex and it requires more work, but it's you just split your risk between both. So let's say you risk, I don't know, 1%, then you can risk 0.5% with each one. Say you risk 0.5%, then you would have your risk be 0.25% per trade. So, gonna get myself all situated over here. Get ready to strike. Now, New York opens in 6 minutes. So, how you want to approach this, obviously, up to personal preference. If you feel like you can, you have a trigger finger and you want to be able to watch the market just open and do its thing, then 100% do your thing. Set just market execute. If you want to set a limit, because sometimes you guys know it's just spikes and you have to be lightning to catch it, then that's another option. It's really your choice. You have some time here to set up, get your contracts or your lot sizes set up so that you can make that decision. Right now, it looks like if we're just looking at this, Dow is starting to drop a little bit faster. So it's a slightly more bearish than even NASDAQ. So it looks like it's kind of lagging behind a little bit. I'm going to place and you guys can have your entry higher if you want to. I'm going to place mine like right around 45,800 just to make sure we get locked in there. And then a 2.6R looks pretty reasonable. Yeah, honestly, if you do want to go a little bit higher, you're probably going to be okay. Assuming that it does want to trigger us in. Now remember, with micro, so this is for if you're trading MYM, your contract size is worth 50 cents a point. So just for example, just to give you guys a reference, if I'm going to have a 45-point stop, and let's say I'm risking $400, then this is going to be roughly like 17, 18 contracts on MYM. So if let's say you risk $200, then you're looking at roughly like, 8 or 9 contracts to risk $200. So if you're risking less, then you know what you should be looking for. All right. So 3 minutes out, guys. Look at this. We're already starting to see Dow drop. Should you chase this? Should you just go and say, you know what, man, I don't want to miss the move. Let me just get in now. What do you guys think? I think it's a great idea, guys. Are you going full risk or half? On this trade? I'm gonna take my normal risk. Chase it. Why have rules, right? Rules are for squares, dude. This is just gambling anyways, right?
Wouldn't you want to take NAS since it's lagging behind now?
Lagging? What do you mean? That NAS is more bullish right now.
Yeah, and now it's like kind of looking bearish, right? So wouldn't you want to take NAS if it turns bearish?
Nah. So what I would want to do is, and maybe we missed it or maybe we didn't, but since this is lagging behind, like let's say it pumps, right, and we can get our entry. If it's gonna pump up, then we're probably gonna see NQ go higher than Dow would get to. So it's more likely that Dow would stay within the structure, and that NASDAQ would actually probably break up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Since it's already kind of a little bit more bullish in this zone. So if it does go up, and right now it looks like they're correlating pretty well, then we would more than likely get something like this. And then NAS, if it's going to pump too, it would pump from wherever it's at. So this could potentially break above or just maybe even stay within it and work. It works out anyways. But yeah, I would still go with Dow. It's kind of noisy right now. So, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, when the market started to kind of get into this imbalance, I had a feeling this might want to short early on. I didn't want to chase it, but there was some part of my intuition that I was like, damn, this might actually go down before it even clears these highs. And yeah, it looks like that's the case. So right now I'm still going to keep the idea open because we're still basically consolidating. Now what is looking pretty good is that buy setup though. The buy setup that we talked about with NQ, this could be the other idea though. So we might keep seeing this drop here. Now we're seeing New York open. So we're clearly seeing this drop with Dow. I'm eliminating my sell, so nothing to do there. Unfortunately for us, we could have been rich, but instead we chose discipline. Right? Why would we ever do that? So dumb. Should have chased it, right? So now we're seeing Dow went below PPI, okay, which we talked about. NASDAQ now approaching that PPI zone. So I do think we could get a decent bounce from here. And let me quickly go to S&P. Okay. So now we're seeing NASDAQ work its way down to the zone. Dow cleared this low. So I do like NASDAQ buys from where we're at right here. Boom. All right, so let me quickly make sure we're in this. So we had the sell-off. And then it's an 18-point pump. So we are now mitigated. So if I were you, if I was in this trade, which I am in this trade, but what I would do is now I would tighten up my stop. I definitely under leveraged. Hilarious! Wow, I'm so under leveraged. So I took my position right over here. Stops are at reduced risk for me. I don't need this trade to play out to be to do anything here. So here's the entry. Here's the trade now. Seeing it run. So let's say the first exit, that's just a high probability exit, would be the just filling this imbalance, getting to these structure points right here. But all right, for me, I just got tagged out at a break-even trade. Don't need it anymore. So I'm not going to chase this for NASDAQ now. For me, I'm done. Can it go? Maybe. But what we have over here now is, well, what did Dow just do? Dow just cleared the PPI liquidity, the buyers, right? So this is over. Could have been great. Sells. Didn't trigger us in by about 10 points. But now that Dow Jones cleared PPI, Dow starts to push more bullish quickly. What could be a setup. I don't want to force this. I don't want to do anything crazy over here. But what could be a setup could be the shakeout now that we took PPI. There is the London lows over here, but with the structure that we got over here, we just might have a decent play at Dow buys. The only downside is when we saw Dow Jones clear PPI lows, it spiked up super fast, but then it's coming right back down just as quickly. So these aren't high probability. Like, we're not getting a ton of demand over here. We're not trading super bullish. We spike up, we crash down, we come back up again. So when we see this type of volatility, when we're seeing this type of movement, it's really not my favorite type of price action. These are the kind of excuse me, these are the kind of moves that I don't typically like to force. So I'm not going to take anything here. We just might keep pushing further down with Dow Jones, and we might go lower. So like I said, these are typically a little bit more dangerous moves because we don't see the market stay bullish and show us, okay, the push down was just to sweep liquidity. Instead, we're noticing, which sucks, but NASDAQ took me out just to run.
You were my engine. No, I'm just kidding.
I was your liquidity, right? So for me, I managed this pretty quickly. As soon as we got the bounce, we got a nice little like 20-point move. I moved my stop. The market came back, took me out at a reduced. I think I lost $50. So I lost $50. So we're done. Shit. I don't know how we're gonna make it back home. And then from here, yeah, we have basically, yeah, from here, based on how I'm managing my trade, I mean, this is just the rules that I follow. So got tagged out, and then now we're starting to hold structure pretty well. What's interesting is right now, look at Dow. Dow did hold this, so the shakeout idea is starting to play out pretty decent. NASDAQ starting to hold the structure pretty well as well. So we may end up getting a decent opportunity for a buy later on. If I was still in this buy, the first exit that I would want, which is well above a 2R, 2.5, would be just filling this in a balance, playing out of this structure. So this area looks pretty solid. I know many of you, if you're hitting 2R right now, this might be, you're already at a take profit. He said, on your broker clear PPI, yeah, that's why we trade futures, because CFD brokers are really inconsistent. So, what's up, Hector? What's good, bro? Yo, is Steven still slumped? Dang.
He's trading from his bed.
He's trading from his bed. El NASDAQ tomé la compra y después me sacó a mí en una pérdida pequeñitita. Yeah, so here you go, guys. This is always good exits are where you've seen previous structure and imbalance. So this combination is always a really solid high probability exit right there. So look, as soon as we came down, right, we traded here for a little bit, tapped into the zone. So these are always great exit points. And then from here, we'll kind of see how the market unfolds. Obviously, I'm not in this trade anymore. And like I mentioned earlier, if you guys were on the school stream, there's a lot of liquidity here. Like we have equal lows. We have London that can still go like way further down. So I'm not in an environment of swinging buys quite yet. I kind of want to see the market prove itself. And same thing, if you look at Dow, then Dow also has London lows that are a lot closer that it can target at the moment. So yeah, I'm not really chasing anything. But guys, the shakeout setup, man, That was the one today. That was the one. We would have beautiful. I was maybe too ambitious with the entry. My thoughts were this would lure in the most buyers, take out the last bit of sellers, and then drop. So honestly, I still live by it. I'm not upset with this concept. I think I like my theory behind how it could play out. Now, how do we feel about a possible short if structure stays pretty bearish? Could we be looking for a sell over here now? So we can see how the market takes out kind of this liquidity one last bit after it was squeezing, and then it shorts. So if we end up having Dow Jones take its sweet time to work its way up to here, then I'd be down. I'd be down for a short on Dow. I'd be down. Nobody? All right. I'll stick to my day job. That's fine. So let's see how this unfolds. Buys are a little sketchy because of this liquidity. It might leave it. It might not. And this is why your exits matter more than your entries. If you would have taken a trade here, and then you would have been in profit, you saw it running, you screenshotted it, and you were so busy looking awesome that you ended up poor. So the beauty of exits, guys. Now, if let's say your exit strategy is to take it beyond a 2R or maybe 3R, 4R, whatever, or it's not based on technicals, then that's fine. But if your exit strategy has to do with like imbalance exits, structure, or just a 2R, then, follow that. So I'd say prioritize trading and not everything else. You said ES didn't do the ting, by the way. The ting? I see what you mean. So we have Corey here playing 4D chess. So S&P. And you're right. S&P is kind of chilling. Not trading like Dow. So for example, Dow here got below PPI open. NASDAQ is building up more liquidity here as well. I can see it. Corey, I like you. I like what you see over here, man. S&P still hasn't gotten down to this level. We haven't seen it reject that PPI sell-off before it rallied, and more than likely we would see NASDAQ start to take out some of this liquidity. So if we do end up getting down to here with S&P, I don't see why not take a setup over here. Dow, let's see if for example, these are London lows right over here. So we might get like one of those situations where everything times so perfectly, where the market takes out London lows for Dow Jones. We see NASDAQ clear liquidity, and then that takes S&P to its area. Dude, I gotta turn that shit down. It's a whole ass frequency that I'm not. What's the contract for ES on Top Step? The contract size? What is it, like $5, I think? On ES or MES? Let me know which one you're actually asking about. So MES contract size is, let me double check. I think it's $5. Yeah. $5. This is telling me to take 10,000 contracts. That can't be right. Select 10,000 contracts. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, so not 10,000 contracts. Got it. So Dow about to clear London lows. We got NASDAQ swept. Ooh, swept some liquidity, rallies. Okay. S&P kind of looks like a shakeout, right? Came up, came down. Is this enough bullish structure though? Not really, right? We kind of just come right back down, so I'm not going to get too excited over here. And remember, you have an abundance of opportunities. You have so many different setups, so you don't really have to go and chase. Now for the shorts on metal, so I'm just gonna let these indices do their thing for a little bit here, give them some time, so we're not staring at every tick print here. But with, for example, gold, right? We had that sweep of the high from yesterday, and then it worked its way down. Still not up here. We're still not taking these highs, so we're not really at this selling zone yet. Whereas silver, on the contrary, silver is already trading up here. So silver actually is kind of taking the reins on being bullish, and it got up to that Tuesday move. So like right around here somewhere. I'll zoom in a second. So it's already kind of came up here. So look at this, right? This is 9 o'clock Central Time yesterday. So 30 minutes after New York open, with that spike up and then it drops. Meanwhile, gold has the same move, 30 minutes after New York open, but we're not trading up here yet. So gold has a way better opportunity to play out than silver for a sell. All right, guys, so patience here. NASDAQ still working its way lower. S&P still squeezing. And then we have Dow Jones that is basically building up liquidity over here as well. It's trading right at these London lows. So I'd say wait it out. So if you wanted to look for a gold idea, I do like the short from here. And I'm personally not going to take this too, I don't have to sell this too high in this range. I'm okay with shorting right where we had this resistance. The downside of a trade like this is the risk reward for sure. The risk reward, if you wanted to just have a super conservative exit, you're looking at barely getting a 1R out of this if you just were going to trade it into the structure. So this looks pretty likely. At this point, you know, stops go to break even. But based on the way that this is moving and the way that we're looking at these wicks down here, I think your next best opportunity would be to just take this to liquidity, which would be right here. And now you're looking at well over a 3R, 3.24R. So this looks solid. Likely that we keep working our way down to these spikes, like these moves, these imbalances. But this here is more than enough. 3.2R. That's pretty solid. So let me go ahead here and share some ideas. Today's setups. What day is it? 10? We're looking at gold. And if the stream looks kind of weird, we're on like HDMI. So it's going to format it really different. And I'm going to keep editing this and adding more to it. right. I know. I think Alonzo, you had a chart that you marked up, right? Any of you guys have any setups you want me to look at? Are y'all chilling? Natural gas. Nat gas. USD CAD. Yeah, this looks good. Zoe. Come on, Zoe. Gonna be waiting for a bit, but it looks good. All right. Meanwhile, Jesus. Gold buys? Oil buys. All right, I'll take a look at it. So Dow ripped down to here, and now on a mission. So nice little liquidity capture. Now absolutely flying. So let me take a look at NAS. Meanwhile, NAS is just chilling. Big chilling over here. So I'm not going to short Dow. NAS is really, really slow to work its way higher, at least right now. So I'm going to hold off on any sort of Dow Jones trades. I'm cool. So even though we did have a nice little push up here and then it dropped, since we are more bullish right now with Dow, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stay out of this. And considering we got so close to taking out London session lows, I'm going to wait it out. We're kind of in a range right now, so I'm okay with waiting. If you guys have setups that you like and you want to take it, obviously follow your plan. I'm just detached from having to trade in real time. Every single minute of the day doesn't need to be a trade. I think long term you make more money probably just saying no to average setups over time than to just being a yes man to your impulses, to your desires. So I would just kind of just see if it makes sense to you, if it makes sense to your plan or not. Is this the gold buy that you were looking at? Oil. I don't know why you're saying. I keep saying gold. And then natural gas and oil. Okay, cool. We can take a look at that. So the other idea that I see here, and this is one that I've been meaning to get to, but we've been kind of back and forth, is that silver move. So silver takes the lows and then runs. So I like gold sells and silver buys. So if we were to work our way down to here, would definitely be down for a silver buy. And then I'm going to be waiting for gold to work its way up to here to take a short. All right, so Dow, as soon as it came up, it's coming right back down. So again, I'm not in love with any trades there. NASDAQ just pushing. So what I think we're about to get that ES trade that we were talking about. So yeah, yes, getting closer and closer. Ideally, we see Dow take out London lows so that we could set up for S&P buys. I don't typically buy S&P. Usually it's somewhere between NASDAQ and Dow Jones, like in the way it's trading. But today it's kind of just moving on its own, has its own setup. So I'm definitely open to it. So if you're trading MES, $5 a tick, and then if you're trading ES, so the mini contract is 50. All right, so while that sets up, we can take a look at natural gas. I know you traded natural gas like that. And G. What setup do you have?
It's only 100.
What's the current contract? Let's see. I think it was like a recent switch, no? Nah, it was a couple weeks ago. There's a couple, huh? This one is huge as Jesus. Huge short. So yeah, you have this thing just dumping. Crashes here. This lures. This takes out tons of buyers, lures and sellers, and you get the break retest. So you get a good. This is a textbook shakeout here on natural gas. Over here. So really, it starts to drop from here, and then it stalls out for a little bit. See how it kind of creates some more support? So we get more support right over here. And so you can actually narrow down your zone to like right there. And then you see it drop, retest. So this lures in break and retest sellers. Once these break and retest sellers get into some good profit. And then you see how it's like respecting previous levels. This is where we would have a buy. So now I would be looking for a mitigation over here, like somewhere in this imbalance. So I do like this setup. Where are we trading right now? Are we close to this? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can see this. I like it somewhere like here where we've seen some support, resistance, like in this zone. Probably somewhere like in here for the buys. I haven't executed a natural gas play in months. Might be slightly traumatized. Alright. So, natural gas. Dow still hasn't swept, so for those of you following along with indices, no Dow move yet. We're seeing NASDAQ still kind of choppy, but slowly working its way lower. Okay. You were asking about oil, right? Oh, Bitcoin's doing its thing. Okay, we like to see that. Dog. Yeah, buddy. Okay. ETH BTC. Okay, so this is something for my crypto people. When ETH BTC squeezes like this, we're starting to see just sideways movement between which one dominates more. So we'll probably see a breakout again soon on more than likely ETH starting to have more dominance over Bitcoin again. Now you were showing me a sell on ETH, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't know how much you zoomed out, but were you looking at this on the 15, or were you zoomed out more? Because the downside of looking for something here on ETH is just, yeah, the liquidity, the squeezing. So you might run into some issues over here. So let's just zoom in a little more and see whether it's still worth a short or not. So I think you might be all right, because this takes out this sideways movement. So it is close. There are some wicks in here. When we have to like reconsider just because of how tight it is, you could risk a little less. But is this in your selling zones now? Like, is it already in your short area?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is definitely, I totally see this idea. My only concern would be that we are getting a little close to other highs. But honestly, considering the fact that Bitcoin has been so bullish already today, it's definitely the leading bull. So selling ETH makes sense if there was a setup, in which case there is right now. So yeah, ETH shorts, not bad. So it rips, crashes, comes back up again, then leaves another imbalance. So basically right now it's within this zone. Yeah, not bad at all, man. We're already seeing a reversal, so I really wouldn't chase it here. So unless I was already in, which I'm not. But if we go higher, I'm down. I'll probably go like half risk. I don't think I'd risk full, considering all these other highs. But I get it. I have a feeling Sol's going crazy. 225 today? Says Sol hurt your feelings? Why? Did you paper hands it?
When I first started, Soul was max, and that's when I was like tipping into the NFT scene.
Oh, I see. So, oh yeah, Sol and NFTs combined
Just sucked the
was good until it was bad, man. All right, so let's see. Let's do some actualizations here. Let's get some updates going. Now with indices, we're really starting to see S&P rip. So I'm assuming NASDAQ's doing some work right now. Okay. So NQ, sideways, consolidation, still no trades on my end. I wouldn't really want to do anything here. All right, so I'm gonna just do one more quick recap of just where we're at right now with the majors, and then I'll probably wrap up here. So we're starting to kind of come back to fill up a lot of this movement. Like after it spiked down with PPI, it's came back up for the most part across the board. Euro came back up. Yen. So funny enough, as much as we joked about the yen not really being a good setup, it actually did mitigate. So either way, for me, that's not a big deal. I'm okay with just not taking those trades. We saw the pound, right, take out this high, go crazy to the upside, and it's actually been one of the slowest ones to move its way up. So we came crashing down, and then as soon as we came down to here, we are also coming right back up. So I definitely would have preferred us to stay bearish longer. We kind of just are getting really choppy, so not my favorite price action. And then Australian is going even higher. So with all of this being said, it looks to me like Euro or CAD look like better sells, which would be just selling out of yesterday, that 9 a.m. movement where it spiked up here. So selling in these zones, whether it's CAD or it took that high or it's Euro, that makes sense to me. NQ and YM. So YM not really convincing me on much. And then right now NASDAQ on a mission. Swept the low, came back up, came back down. So big squeeze before it's pushing higher. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, this is probably some of my least favorite price action that I've seen in a bit post New York Open. It's just kind of messy. The shorts that we had the opportunity of a few minutes before New York Open, that's really what I think the best play was, and it's anyways for now. So if we get something crystal clear later, I'm down, but right now I'm just not gonna force anything whatsoever. We can do a quick update just on some stocks and see how those are moving. Let's see. GME up pretty decent. AMC up a little bit. But I think I just saw Chewy was down like 13%, 14%. God dang. So big gap down. We were up. And now we're basically back to dollar cost average entries. So for me, this is more of a buy more scenario. Maybe even here in this imbalance, because here we have a nice spike down. So yeah, I'm cool with that. Stock up a little more. Let's see if this lasts or not. Webull starting to push higher. Lululemon still in the like dollar cost averaging zone. It's just squeezing, moving sideways. So I think we're more than likely to spike down before we go higher. So I don't know what you guys think about Lululemon. I don't own any of it. Maybe I should start buying it since I own shares. But I'd rather own shares in the close itself.
Clothes are very nice.
The clothes are nice, yeah. But if I'm gonna use my money, I'd rather just buy half shares. But if y'all want to buy clothes, you know, to just spread the word. But no, for real, Lulu still is in good zones. I do think we still get a spike down below 157. So if you want to wait a little longer, then definitely feel free to do that. And then that takes us to crypto. Crypto very bullish today. Across the board, just everything's looking good. Looking real good. Bitcoin sitting over 114. Rallying. Alright, so interestingly enough, S&P, the most bullish setup of the day. Rare S&P leading the pack. If S&P stays bullish like this, if we get like a good structure, then I am open to buying S&P within this zone. So if we stay trading up here, I say wait for bullish structure, wait for demand, and if we get something like that, then we can look for buys over here. Did I get HDMI said, you know what, man, I'm tired of you. TV timed out. Hey. Still got business over here. That's weird.
It did say something, so I didn't know what,
Can you... How do you guys want to do this?
Just on for which line? Oh, yeah.
Did it just auto, just like click the source or whatever? So yeah, right now S&P solid. If we can hold some bullish structure, I'm down to take a swing at this here. And then I'd look for entries probably over here, like sitting under 65.50. Like in this zone, you see how we've had a lot of support over here. Now again, this is only if we can actually create bullish structure. If this just is if this just comes up and then right back down, then I would not look for something like this. All right, I've ignored the chat. What about you guys? You guys have any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? Cool. I think Total 3 is also coming to your retreat. Mike, do you have video on tutorials on setting up futures to like the risk management element of things? I just bought oil up 1R at the moment. Well, just less oil. Did I end up looking at oil? Are you serious? Damn, bro, that's crazy. Speak up, bro. Speak up. Say it with your chest. I swear I looked at oil.
You said it like 3 times and you just never looked at it.
Fuck. What a dick. Oh, dude, that was a good setup, man. Damn, that would have been nice. You should have said something, bro.
Wow.
Are you passing your challenge with this trade or something?
I will be done, but they want me to make that extra.
Well, get it together, bro. Yeah, so nice little sell-off, 5 minute. And then we pushed up. Honestly, I'm being real. I probably wouldn't have taken this.
Yeah, it was a little demon buy.
It was a little degen buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave the degen to you. But yeah, I would have preferred just kind of more structure. But it definitely mitigated, so solid. Here's a nice little sell-off, and then it rallied, so this might look a little better. So here we see a big push. They're still in balance down here. We could get back down to here and then short from this zone. Right there. All right. Well, I don't really feel that bad because it was a mid setup, Isaiah. But I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for your trading plan, but that's fine. All right, let's see. Yeah, it took a huge hit. Earnings. You can play selling crypto like we do with futures. Yeah. Of course. Bought a little Lulu. We'll buy more under 185. What do you think of Target stock? Oh, I did have a play on stocks for you guys. I was looking at Chipotle. Chipotle stock looks decent. Target. So I refuse to buy Target. I don't give a fuck. I will never buy Target. And here's why. It's because I just have like a raging like just anger with George Soros. Like George Soros is a piece of shit. Like he's an actual just evil human being. So as much as everyone loves Target, like if you buy Target, you're investing in pedophiles. It's like legitimately what you're doing. So fuck Target. I'm gonna short this. Tell me when there's a shorting entry, and that's what I'll do. Yeah, you guys got the anger out of me right now. Goddamn George Soros. It's just not it, man. So I'm not a fan. And what's his? What are their names? What's that chick? She's famous for no reason. Oh, there's a lot of those people. It's a couple. One guy is a good singer, legend.
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. Those people, certified pedophiles. So yeah, nah, you won't catch me buying Target. Sell Target. Send it to hell. Send this to 0, baby. Yeah. But Chipotle, got no problems with Chipotle. Not yet, at least. Not until further notice. Chipotle, I don't think we come back to COVID levels just because we've already basically established an entirely different structure on the monthly time frame. So I don't think we get down there, but the only thing and the only reason I haven't looked at buys quite yet is just financials. So either we play out of this little drop here before it rallied, or we get down even further. You guys see this nice little spike down? So Chipotle might get to this like 33, 34 range. So I haven't fully committed to a decision yet. But even if it gets to, let's say here, if you want to start dollar cost averaging in around, these levels, it's still looking pretty decent. Even if you just take it to these highs, you're still getting 40% growth, give or take. I think this is more than likely where you could see a distribution. But yeah, they have been making less money because apparently the US is just, not doing good financially. So mass consumer markets are not really buying. E tapped into a mitigation zone. Yeah, that's what Mateo here was talking about. Boycott Cooper Hawk. I don't really... Is that the winery spot? What do they do? What are they on? Cooper Hawk moving weird. Alright, guys. I'm going to wrap it up there. Good sesh. If you guys have any further questions, comments, ideas, concerns, then go ahead and drop them here in the community. If you're not in here, then get in here. The link's in the description. It's a good time. There's 24 people waiting to join. I will let you in soon. Gotta go. Y'all having fun, but the language is getting a bit thick. It's called passion, Marty. It's called passion. Alright, guys. Excuse the language. But actually, honestly, this is who I am. Alright, peace out, guys.